What's up, guys? And UFC 300 just took place, and what a card it was. Incredible stuff. One of the best cards I've ever seen. Probably the best card I've ever seen live. I can't speak for the rest of UFC history, but I think it's the best card of all time. But it was incredible, and let's go through, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, and giving my reaction and breakdown of every single fight on the card. I'll talk about my pick record at the end of the video, but let's get into it. Cody Garbrandt versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, I picked Figgy, and he got it done. I picked him by KO. I thought Cody was going to be retarded and get chinned in the pocket, but Cody actually won the first round pretty clearly, in my opinion. He looked good. He looked fast on the outside. He was tagging Figgy a couple times. I'm pretty sure Figgy did get a takedown at one point later in the round, but he did wrestle, and they made that a point of his game plan. Maybe he kind of realized going in, he's like, I don't want to have to be trying to chase Cody and trying to knock him out. I'm going to just wrestle. And he did very well. Cody did look good on the outside. He was landing some good shots. He looked quick. So fair play. It's not an awful performance for Cody Garbrandt. But eventually in the second, Figgy took him down, and Cody's grappling defense just was not good enough. He gave up the back, gave up the choke, and Figgy got a rear naked choke to start off the card. It was good stuff. And yeah, he didn't get a bonus, of course, because it was a crazy night of fights and a submission ain't going to get one. But Dana White said post-fight that he took care of all the other people that got finishes, and then obviously the other two people got bonuses that I'll talk about in a bit. But good stuff from Figueiredo. Tough for Garbrandt, but yeah, let's move on up the card. Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. This was a rough one to watch. Jim Miller got pieced up pretty badly the whole time. In the first round, he did land a big shot at the end of round one. Kind of wobbles Bobby Green a little bit. So that was good, but ultimately, Bobby Green was way too quick. He was his movement was too good. Jim Miller couldn't hit him that much. Miller was landing a couple decent leg kicks, but it was pretty much all Bobby Green in round 2 and 3. He was stunning him, beating him up, cut him open badly. Jim Miller was bleeding a lot, and it was a rough one to watch, obviously. We wanted Jim Miller to get the win at 100, 200, and 300, but I guess competing at those three is enough. He's still a legend, and he's just not a ranked quality lightweight, so fair enough. But let's move on up the card. Also, sorry, Bobby Green, he also called out Paddy Pimblett very aggressively post-fight. He said, I'm a black guy, I came from poverty, all this shit, and then he's like, I want to fight Paddy. It's like, bro, we don't need the backstory, but we don't need to know the ends that you grew up in. But yeah, I like the Paddy call out. I think he run that, because Moicano won, which I'll talk about in a sec. So I don't think you give him Paddy Pimblett. I think Moicano deserves a jump up, but I wouldn't mind the Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett fight. I think that's a good one to do. Let's move on, though, up the card. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Oh, who gives a fuck? Jessica Andrade won a decision. It was split, which was kind of funny, because I thought it was pretty clear that that Andrade won. I picked Rodriguez, so I wasn't happy with this one. I thought she was going to beat her up at the range, and she did look better on the feet. She did look like the cleaner striker, but Andrade just kept landing good shots. She would get takedowns. That's how she won the first round. She got a takedown and just held her down. Marina Rodriguez didn't know how to get up from bottom. And then in the second and third, Andrade would just land a couple big shots. I think Marina won the third from memory, but I gave Andrade the first two. So whatever. Good job, Andrade, you fucking lesbian. Let's move on up the card. Renato Moicano versus Jalen Turner. Now, Jalen Turner is retarded, and I won't hear anything else. He tried to go for a walk-off KO, which he probably could have finished in the first round. First round TKO, he could have got that. But no, he decides to try and walk off like a spastic when Moicano wasn't even out cold. He knocked him back. It was a big knockdown, but Moicano was fine. He just stood up, and then Jalen Turner's like, oh, why didn't you stop it? It's like, bruv, he's not out. You have to follow up punches. And he probably would have got the finish if he just jumped on Moicano. But then he broke, and that was late in the first, after he was losing the first round, because he got taken down. And then in the second, the spastic, who doesn't know how to follow up from a knockdown, decides he just doesn't care about fighting anymore and just gives up, gets taken down easily, and just lets, with no effort to try and get up, just lets Renato Moicano ground and pound him to a finish. So good job, Moicano, gets the win. Good moment on the mic, just saying a whole bunch of nonsense. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about, but it was funny. So good job, Renato Moicano. Gets the finish by TKO against Jalen Turner, and he will now be a top 10 lightweight. So crazy. Good job to Renato Moicano. Let's move on up the card. Diego Lopes versus Sodiq Yusuff. Yeah, Diego Lopes is him, and he fucking ran through Sodiq Yusuff immediately, less than a minute and a half in. I think the official time was 1 minute 29 seconds. This dude does not give a fuck. He's just going to finish people. He's literally overpowered. I thought this fight was going to be tough for him. I thought he was going to win, but I was like, oh, it's going to get extended. He might get cracked a little bit. He might have to grapple. No, this guy's like, fuck you. I'm going to just go out there and just immediately chin Sodiq Yusuff on the feet. Crazy impressive, given that Arnold Allen went decision with this guy and Edson Barboza won the last 4 rounds and couldn't finish him. So fucking Diego Lopes came out there and just immediately chinned him. My Fight Pass, I was watching it on Fight Pass, and I had mates over, we were watching it on Fight Pass. The fucking stream cuts out as soon as the fight starts, so I'm like, what the fuck? So then I get my mate to pull it up on his phone. So we're watching it on his fucking phone for like 30 seconds, so we missed a little bit of it. I'll rewatch it in a bit, but eventually the Fight Pass loaded again, and then immediately there's like we're like a minute in, and then Diego cracks him, drops him. I thought he was going to finish him there. Sodiq Yusuff ends up getting back up. Lopes gets him in the clinch, and just he's taller than these guys, and he's stronger than these guys, and he gets him in the clinch, and he frames off, and just is able to land as many punches as he fucking wants, whenever he wants, and he just chinned Sodiq Yusuff in the clinch, dropped him again, followed up with ground and pound. Was unlucky to not get a 300k bonus, I'll be honest. I guess they only want to give the 300k bonuses to their big stars, which is weird because they make more money. I get, obviously, Holloway 100% deserves it. Jiri, I think, definitely deserves it, but surely you could have done more than 2. But again, Dana said that they'll give all the other guys that got finishes, they'll give them bonuses. So Lopes will get a bit of extra money on the side, but crazy, after the debut to Movzar, which he almost won, gave Movzar major problems on like 4 days' notice. He then fucking subs Gavin Tucker in a minute 38, KOs Pat Sabatini in 1 minute 30, and then KOs Sodiq Yusuff in 1 minute 29. This dude loves getting KOs in like the first 2 minutes. Great stuff. Diego Lopes, absolute G. Superstar potential, I think, in the featherweight division. I'll tell you who I want to see him fight in my next Fights to Make video, which I'll do, but incredible stuff. One of the highlights of the earlier part of the card, because after the first 3 fights was just nothing crazy. It was alright, but it was kind of dead. And then Moicano gets to win and livened the place up with his mic work, and then Diego Lopes just kept that train going and fucking brought the place on fire. Crazy stuff. Great win, Diego Lopes. Let's move on up the card. Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm. I picked Kayla Harrison by TKO. I thought she was going to just get her in like a crucifix position, finish her on the ground. And to be fair, she was beating the fuck out of Holly Holm on the ground. She's on steroids. It's fine. I'm not even going to complain about it because honestly, I support steroid usage in women's MMA because otherwise it's dead. Like you're telling me that Kayla Harrison doesn't just smoke Raquel Pennington and win the belt like easily. I know it's Holly Holm, but you're telling me that Raquel Pennington's going to be that much better than Holly Holm. Like Kayla Harrison is like 20 fucking pounds heavier than these girls in the cage. She's on roids. She's fucking 3 times as strong as them. And she actually has technique with her takedowns and her judo throws. She landed a few good shots on the feet, but you can tell stand-up's not her background. So yeah, she got her down easy, beat her up in the first round. I thought she was going to get a stoppage. Beat her up in the second, eventually takes the submission with the rear naked choke. Good win for her. And Dana White said Holly Holm should retire, which frankly I am all in support of because I'm not trying to see Holly Holm headline Apex Fight Nights. But let's move on up the card. Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar. I picked Aljo by 30-27 decision. I was spot on. I initially was like, oh, he's going to be back and forth. He's going to get cracked in the first round. He's going to have to overcome some adversity. But no, I changed my mind. I was like, he's just going to dominate Calvin Kattar in the grappling. He's going to shoot a bunch of takedowns over and over again, and he's going to get him down comfortably and just hold on to him because Kattar has never fought a chain grappler and someone that actually is a good wrestler. He's fought, everyone was like, oh, you defended all the takedowns from Dan Ige. Like, Dan Ige's not a fucking wrestler. I love Dan Ige. He's a great striker, not a wrestler. Just because you shoot 10 takedowns on someone doesn't mean you're a good wrestler. And yeah, he stuffed all of those. But no, Aljo actually knows how to wrestle. And Kattar looked pretty slow. Kattar really didn't even land much on the feet. So it wasn't even a case of like Kattar was tuning him up on the feet and Aljo was shooting for dear life to get the win. He was just taking the most effective, easiest method of victory. And yeah, he got it done. Good win for him, 30-27. He'll probably have to fight a bunch of guys in the top 10 before he even gets close to a title shot, just because, the UFC is not the biggest fan of Aljo, but yeah, good win. Let's move on up the card. Jiri Prochaska versus Alexander Rakic. I picked Rakic to win by KO, or TK or whatever. And to be fair, my prediction wasn't looking too bad because he was tuning up Jiri early. He clearly won the first round dominantly. Second round even, he was doing well, but you could kind of tell as the fight went on, Jiri, his autism and his samurai energy was just slightly becoming a bit too much for Rakic, and even though his legs were getting absolutely chewed up and he was like getting tagged, his chin is retardedly overpowered unless you're Alex Pereira, who even Pereira wasn't able to knock him out like clean. He needed a bit of a questionable it's over stoppage from fucking Mr. Goddard. But yeah, we just saw what Pereira did to Jamal Hill, which I'll talk about in a bit, but Jiri didn't just get completely smoked by him. So yeah, his chin is retarded. Rakic was actually doing well. I think a lot of people that thought Rakic was going to win, everyone was predicting him to just kind of take him down and wrestle fuck and be boring. But I was like, no, I think this is going to be a really fun fight. And it wasn't even a fun fight just because of Jiri. Obviously, Jiri brought the action, but Rakic was making it fun regardless. He was chewing up Jiri. He was landing good shots, but eventually Jiri, you can't knock the man out unless you're Pereira. And so his autism took over and he started landing on Rakic. He was rocking him a couple times. Eventually rocked him, had him down, and was ground and pounding. Again, I think there's an argument to let it go, but I'm not going to complain about the stoppage. Great win for Jiri. Always happy to see my boy back in the win column, and I like him a lot. I just didn't think he was going to win, and even stylistically, you can tell this matchup was not the best one for him, and Rakic didn't even wrestle. So even just on the feet, Rakic was winning, until he wasn't, of course. So yeah, I wouldn't have won if I didn't lose, or I would have won if I didn't lose kind of energy coming from me. But yeah, good win from Jiri. I don't think he gets a title shot just yet. I think you do him versus either Blachowicz or Jamal Hill or something like that. But yeah, I don't think title fight just yet because he did look a bit iffy, but I can give him another one. If he gets another win, you can get him back to the title shot. But let's move on to the next fight. Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. Yeah, fucking Bo Nickal, get this fuck out of here. Dumbass. Shitty, only good wrestling. He's got fucking shit submission potential. He couldn't even find a finish in round one. Absolute bum. He's never going to be anything in the sport. No, I'm kidding. Look. He did okay, but again, it's Cody fucking Brundage. You should be smoking him. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's 5-0, 6-0, whatever. Khamzat Chimaev was like 6-0 when he entered the UFC, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like his level of... I mean, maybe Bo Nickal goes from struggling in the first round with Cody Brundage to beating, I don't know, who's the Li Jingliang of middleweight, like Paul Craig or something. That's not even a good comparison, but you know what I mean. Like, just beating a top 15 guy after struggling with a bum. Not that Khamzat even struggled with a bum, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just a bit iffy. You kind of got to be finishing these guys in the first round outside the rankings. I get it. Not every top 15 guy just beats everyone in the first round. It's a stylistic thing, but I feel like Bo Nickal's stylistic game is not going to work that well at the top level against guys who have good submission defense, good takedown defense, good get-ups, and way better striking than Bo Nickal's striking is not that good. Sorry, bro. Beating Val Woodburn doesn't mean you're that good. And then he's grappling he subbed Brundage. Brundage got subbed by fucking boot gang Cedricus Dumas. I know he didn't get subbed by him, but he got dominated on the ground. Like, Your Bo Nickal's performance against Cody Brundage is like the same level as like, who did he fucking lose to? Someone, you know what I mean? Like, he's losing to guys that are just shit, and it's not like he struggled with him. Like, Brundage didn't do much. He landed a few shots. But yeah, you're having to chain wrestle against this guy. He's getting up. Like, I'm sorry, you should just be taking down Cody Brundage and submitting him without difficulty. Because it's Cody Brundage. But whatever, fucking good win, Bo Nickal. Shouldn't have been on the main card. I wish, how sick would it have been if Jiri vs Rakic opened up the main card? That would have been so much better, but whatever. Good job, fucking Bo Nickal. Fair play to him at least, though. He didn't try and bullshit. He was not happy with his performance. He called out Fluffy Hernandez, who has a fight booked, so that's retarded, and he would lose that. And then he called out Kopylov, who also has a fight booked, so again, retarded. But whatever, good job. Let's move on though, up the card. Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. I picked Charles Oliveira by round 1 or 2 KO, and ended up Arman Tsarukyan won a split decision. Kind of crazy. This is the first time Oliveira's been to the cards in a while. It's been ages since. This is the first time in fucking like a decade since Oliveira's been to the scorecards. Nothing new for Arman, and of course, crotch sniffer. But fair play, he did alright. First round, Oliveira won. He got on the neck. He got a really close guillotine attempt, and he was on top for like a minute and a half, landing some good ground and pound. Arman reversed it, and he landed, and he was on top for the last minute and a half. But I think in terms of who did better in round one, pretty clearly Charles Oliveira. Round two, Arman won. He got a bunch of ground and pound going. He cut Oliveira open, so that was good for him. Round three, some back and forth striking moments. Both landed some decent shots. Nothing crazy on the feet. Arman had a bunch of control time. I don't think he landed that much effective striking on the ground. He got side control and stuff. He had some good positions on the ground, so fair play. Arman's the first guy really to get around Oliveira's guard and really like do well on the ground with him, apart from I guess Makhachev, but Oliveira wasn't rocked there. Like Arman's the first guy to just cleanly kind of grapple successfully against Charles. So good job to him. But then Oliveira gets on the neck and has a dash choke. Pretty fucking in for like the last 20 seconds. Arman looked like he went limp at one point because his body went to the ground, and I was like, is he out? And then Herb went to check, or whoever the ref was went to check, and then he put his thumb up because he came back up. So I don't know what he was doing. But Oliveira had the last 20 seconds dash. Look, I'm not going to complain about the decision. I 100% get, like, Arman had him on the ground for like half the round. And yeah, I get that you don't really want to give him the round based off a submission attempt, which you don't know how tight it was. But yeah, whatever. Good job. And I'm a massive Charles fan, and so I guess I am annoyed that he lost, but I'm more so annoyed than, like, upset. Like, if he got finished brutally, I would have been like, fuck, man, this is upsetting. I would have been so annoyed. But the way the rest of this card played out, I couldn't have cared less. I know I love Oliveira, but it just really didn't stick in my mind that much. I guess it could have gone to him, it could have gone to Arman, whatever, good win. Let's move on up the card. Max fucking Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. Jesus Christ, Max Holloway fucking murdered this man at 4:59 of round number 5. I think one of the best moments, one of the most iconic moments in UFC history. This is going to be one of those all-time clips. This is going to be one of those fucking finishes. You know how you see those finishes from like the fucking 2000s that still get played on highlight reels today? This is going to be one of those in like 20 years. No one is ever going to forget about this moment. Everyone is always going to be watching this KO back. Crazy stuff. So, round 1. Max Holloway. First of all, I picked Gaethje to win by decision, so I got that wrong off the bat. So fair play to all the people that picked Holloway. Good pick from you guys. And also, especially, I want to be clear, those that picked Holloway with logic. Because if you were picking Holloway because you just like him and you wanted him to win, and you didn't really like know how, you were like, oh, this is going to win, then I guess still good job you picked him. But for those that actually legitimately saw the stylistic problems that Holloway would cause for Gaethje, great job. I did not see those. I really thought Gaethje was going to win a decision, so fair play. But round 1, it was pretty... no, I'm not even going to say back and forth. Holloway was winning. He was landing way better. He hurt not hurt, but he was landing good shots on the feet. He was landing good jabs. And then at the end of the round, lands a jumping, spinning back kick and breaks the nose of Justin Gaethje like the last 5 seconds of round 1. So crazy into round 1. Holloway easily takes it. And yeah, busted up Gaethje's nose badly. Round 2, similar thing. Holloway's just doing way better on the outside. Gaethje can't hit him. His defense was great. I really thought going in, Holloway's been tagged by people. Gaethje's going to be able to hit him, but featherweights must just be way fucking quicker than lightweights, and Holloway's defense must just be way better than I thought it was, because he really wasn't getting touched by Gaethje that much. Round 2, yeah, it was touching him up. Gaethje was doing a bit better, landing some strong low kicks. That was really the only thing he was able to consistently land in this fight, was low kicks. Round 3, Holloway was back on it. Pretty clear round for him. He was beating him up. He actually had it. I think I'm pretty sure round 3 was the round where Holloway had him rocked up against the cage and he was kind of teeing off on him a bit. He was teeing off on him a bit in round 3. Gaethje, again, had not much moments. He just couldn't find his range. He couldn't find his timing, couldn't find the chin of Holloway, and just wasn't able to land on him. My thought of going into this fight, I was like, it's going to go decision. I was pretty confident on that, even though it didn't go decision, so I was wrong. But it almost did. You know what I mean? But I was like, it's going to go decision. Gaethje's going to win. It's going to be close, 3-2. But the difference is just going to be when Gaethje hits Holloway, he's going to just stop him and send him back and like not make him able to keep moving forward. But Holloway's chin was even better at lightweight than it has been at featherweight, arguably. I don't even know, because Gaethje was still landing some solid shots. But yeah, round 3, tuned him up. Round 4, Gaethje landed what I thought was a pretty clear knockdown. Apparently, the stats did not count it as a knockdown. So, technically, on the stats, on paper, the most important thing, according to Anthony Smith, Max Holloway still has not been knocked down, but let's be honest, we know that was a knockdown. He got dropped to a knee. Maybe, I guess they don't count it a knockdown if you don't go to your ass, I guess. I don't know, but whatever. Gaethje landed a big shot, so I guess I can see a definite argument, and all 3 judges did score round 4 for Gaethje, and some retard scored round 2 for Gaethje, so some spastic had a 2-2 going into the 5th, so if somehow Gaethje had won that 5th round, we would have heard a split decision, and that would have been retarded. But Gaethje got the 4th round on the scorecards. Even though Holloway was doing better for majority of the round, Gaethje did, he did drop Holloway to a knee, so I can definitely see how you'd be like, yeah, most impactful shot of the round, give Gaethje the round. But 5th round, Holloway was back on it. It was pretty much all Max. He was shooting him up, piecing him up, and with 10 seconds to go, or with 20 seconds to go, Gaethje throws a cartwheel kick, misses, and then 10 seconds to go, Holloway does his iconic, points to the ground, and they say go. And they swung a few times, and then Gaethje stopped, and then Holloway pointed back to the ground, and they kept swinging. Holloway was landing the way better shots in this exchange. Gaethje's shots weren't affecting him. Holloway's chin is overpowered. And the last shot that landed was the one that wrapped it up, the one that put Gaethje out cold. A massive right hand over the top, slumped Gaethje face first. We got some fucking quick Andy's coming type of Toy Story bullshit KO. Crazy, puts him unconscious face down in the last second of the fight and wins by KO brutally. And I think Gaethje might not be the same after that, because he didn't even look that good in this fight, so fair play Holloway. He's the one that made him look bad, but his chin might be shot. I don't know what's next for Gaethje, because that was a rough one. And all of a sudden, Holloway's now ranked at 155 and 145. He's going to take a massive jump up in the pound for pound for that win. Crazy stuff. And yeah, incredible from Holloway. Gets the BMF belt. Amazing. Gets a 300k performance bonus. Deserved. Gets a 300k fight of the night bonus. Again, deserved. 600k for Max Holloway, plus his show, plus his win. That man's walked away with probably $2 million. 100% deserved to Max. Great stuff. Incredible win. And the highlight of the card by a mile. Because honestly, Oliveira Arman, I love Oliveira, and it was a decent fight, but it just wasn't crazy. There was nothing ridiculous going on, but this was just brought the place to its feet. And yeah, incredible. Great win for Max Holloway. And yeah, he called out to Poirier. He could fight Islam. Obviously, we had some fight announcements, which I'll talk about in another video, but great stuff. Let's move on. Zhang Weili versus Yan Zhanan. This was a pretty interesting fight. I mean, it was fun at moments. It got kind of dead for the last couple rounds, but round 1, Yan Zhanan was actually landing some good shots, and she stunned Zhang Weili a lot in this fight. She knocked her down, I think, twice. I thought she knocked her down again at one point, but she had a bunch of shots where she stunned Zhang Weili, and I was like, bro, Zhang, just please grapple. You're not better than her on the feet. So whatever. But yeah, good job from Zhanan on the feet, but in the grappling, it was pretty much all Weili. Zhang took her down in the first, and I swear to God, she choked her unconscious. At the end of round 1, Yan Zhanan was out cold. She was not conscious, and that fight could have been stopped at the end of round 1 by submission. And in which case, we're not talking about a back and forth kind of fight where Zhang struggled and gassed out. We're talking about a fight where she dominated on the ground and won by submission in the first. She choked her out. It was like Marab versus Ricky Simone. The guy, it didn't get called off, but when the bell went, she was out. So I'm like, is that not a submission? That was confusing to me. But good job, Yan Zhanan, to survive. I was like, what the fuck? This is in. How are you not out? But she was out at the end. So whatever. That continues. Round 2, beats the fuck out of her. 10-8 round. Lands 60 fucking ground strikes. But did gas herself out a bunch. And also went for a head and arm, which looked also pretty in. But Zhanan survived. 3rd round, Weili looked gassed as fuck. And I was like, maybe Zhanan's going to take over and win this fight. She won the 3rd very clearly. 10-9. Dropped Weili and looked way better on the feet. But round 4 and 5, Weili, championship medal, rallied, got herself back together, pulled off the wrestling, grappled, and yeah, won the fight 49-45. So it is 4 rounds to 1 with a 10-8. I wouldn't have even minded 49-44. I thought that 5th could have been a 10-8, but whatever. Dominant from Zhang Weili apart from that 3rd round. And yeah, Fight arguably could have been stopped in the first by submission and in the second by TKO due to ground and pound. No one would have complained at all if if Zhang Weili had got that by TKO and the ref called that off. But fair play, goes the cards, good job. I want to see Zhang Weili defend her belt in China. She was going with some CCP propaganda, but she was like, America, I love you, come to China, we will treat you well. It's like, what kind of fucking CCP propaganda is this, bro? We ain't going to China. But great win from Weili, defends her belt again for the second time, so good job. Let's move on though to the main event. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Shama. That's all I gotta say, boys. Shama. Luta. Good job, Pereira. Fucking smoked Jamal Hill by KO in round 1. Just look at this image on your screen. Jamal Hill's looking up like a scared little kid as his fucking dad comes in when he found out that he didn't come back on time. Like, he was meant to be back by midnight, and Jamal Hill got back at like 12:10, sneaks into bed. His dad comes up and sees him, and then Jamal's like, oh. So that's what that kind of look is. He's like, what the fuck? But early on, good leg kicks from Pereira. That was something I did expect going into this fight, and he did. Landed some good leg kicks. Jamal tried to throw some back. Pereira was checking most of them. Pereira went to the body pretty well, landing some good shots there. Couple kicks from both. Jamal Hill landed a shot at one point. I think it was like a left hook at one point. And then this is the sequence. He lands a kick that scuffs the cup of Alex Pereira, and Herb Dean, Pereira kind of reached down and put his hand there to gesture that he hit him low, and Herb goes to step in. Pereira, without even looking, just holds his hand out, says like, no step in, and then just absolute balls of steel from Alex Pereira, and then they reset, couple seconds, and then bang, uncorks a sort of left hook, uppercut, hybrid, kind of diagonal shot, not really either, you could have said. I think they'll put it in as a hook. It was sort of like a kind of, it's uppercutty hook, you know what I mean, and then sends Jamal Hill back. I thought he flatlined him immediately, which would have been crazy, but no, couple extra ground and pound shots required, no early stoppage this time. Hill was getting his head bobbled around, and then Alex Pereira stands up and just gives him the fucking, look at this is what happens. You can't fucking deal with my power. None of these fuckers are standing with me on the feet. Alex Pereira wins by KO in the first round. Crazy stuff. And that really is a good look on Jiri Prochazka, to be honest, because Jiri was having some moments where Jiri was cracking Alex. Jiri didn't even get like full flatlines by him, so good job, but you just can't stand with the guy. I know also Blachowicz. Blachowicz didn't get finished by this guy in the feet too, so yeah, good job, Pereira. Jamal Hill's going to cop a whole bunch of shit and a whole bunch of memes because, he talked his shit and he didn't back it up, so that's what fucking happens. Don't cry about it. But yeah, good win, Pereira. Post-fight, he said he wants to fight at 301. I would love that because that card needs saving, but if not, whatever, it'll be fine. But if he can fight at 301, that would be crazy to save that card, and that would be legendary stuff from Alex. And this guy, again, a 5th champion in, I think it's 7 UFC wins, I believe. Let me think. So he beat Michailidis, he beat Silva, so those are not champions. Then Strickland, champion. Izzy, champion. Loses to Izzy, beats Blachowicz, champion. Beats Jiri, champion. Beats Hill, champion. So 5 fucking out of 7. Crazy. Alex Pereira, 5 out of 7 of his wins are champions. Or in the UFC at least. Unbelievable stuff. He'll jump up again in the pound for pound for that. And incredible. Said he wants to fight at heavyweight at one point. I don't like it. To be honest, just stick to your own division. Beat light heavyweights. Beat Ankalaev, the Cliff Dweller. Just chin him on the feet, hopefully. Rid that guy of fucking the title picture. Get him out of here. And then if Jiri gets a win in the meantime, you could do that. Maybe do, I'll matchmake in the next video, but whatever. Incredible stuff. I went 7-6 on picks. I'll go through it from the start. So I was right with Figueiredo. I was wrong with Miller. I kind of thought Bobby Green, had a good chance to win, but I was like, I'll go with the fun outcome for 300, so whatever. Rodriguez Andrade, I picked Rodriguez, got that wrong. She doesn't know how to get up from bottom, and even though she was tuning up Andrade on the feet, she would just randomly get dropped or stunned at the end of the round. So whatever. Moicano, Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's a tard. Literally fumbled the first round KO, which he fucking walked away from. Got Diego Lopes, got Kayla Harrison, got Aljamain Sterling. So I was on a big 3-fight streak there. Rakic couldn't get it done. Yuri's chin's too retarded. He's too autistic to beat him. And so yeah, Jiri gets it done. Good job. Obviously, I got Nickal. I got Oliveira wrong. Could have gone either way. Whatever. I'm not going to complain. I got Gaethje wrong. 100%. That's not even... There's no iffiness about that. Like, there's no, like, oh, this way. That's all just, yep, Max Holloway. Credit to the man. He proved me wrong. I got Weili and I got Pereira to finish it off. So, happy with that. Did alright on picks, but who gives a fuck about predictions? If you're walking away from this going, oh, I got 8-4, or I got fucking 6-2, I don't give a fuck about your picks. It's UFC 300. It's incredible stuff. Who gives a fuck? I could have gone 0-13. I wouldn't have cared. Or to be fair, if I went 0-13, then the outcomes would have been shit because we wouldn't have got Pereira KO. But whatever. Amazing card. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. We got fight announcements to talk about, and then we got the next fights to make, and we've got so much to talk about. So yeah, I'm sure I'll have much more videos coming soon, but peace out, guys. See ya.